Okay, group 211 KA, let us continue. Okay, so next time we created a window frame. Let us see. Let me show. Okay, now you see this. Oh, to be sure, one more time. Okay, now you can see this. Frame this window. So what it is how to draw the window. So to go into the window, so we have a special window message pane. It's sent by the system when the window is painted. So the window, so this window is just a picture in the screen. So and it is painted. Okay. So when it is painted, so the Windows system created the message, the system message paint. Okay, so it is possible to declare in our class of the main window the special component, private message map. Okay, so let us declare the message map. Declare message map. Let us declare. So declare message map. Okay. So in this message map, we must put this message. The declaration of the class members. See main window. So to begin message map. Okay. And in this beginning of message map, it is necessary to indicate which class will react on this message paint. So the class of the main window. So the name of the class. Okay, and the name of the class different replace when we main window the class for the main window in our program with Ira. After this, it's possible to put here the place, the message in which we will read. Okay, so it is possible to on this window message now program on window message pane. Okay, so when the window, that is the picture, this picture will be drawn, so we can catch now this message paint, which will be created automatically by the system during this painting, and add to the process of painting our pixels. Okay, so our, for example, texts, our lines, our geometric figures, and other what we need, okay, to be placed in the window. So after this, because we will use only one message paint, so it is necessary to end message. Okay. So after this, it is possible to add some handlers of this event in our program. So what will be a handler? So the handler is the function on paint. The function of the void type, the name of this function is on paint. Okay. So, and it is necessary to put before the name of the function, so the prefix application frameworks message. Okay. So it will be the handler of this event, the function which handles this event, which handles this event. Okay, so now in our class we have a constructor, a destructor, so a handler of the event paint, okay, and the message map. That is 1, 2, 3, 4 members. So the message map we will just have end. Okay, so the constructor we had put before. Okay, so after the realization of the constructor, it is necessary to put the realization of on paint method. So the prefix here is not necessary. Okay, so the constructor and the destructor. Okay, so and after this, it is necessary to realize in the same manner the function on paint. So now this function is not in the frames of the block of the class, and it is necessary to put here the indication that this function is a property of the class. Okay, so how to do this? So it is necessary to put before the name on paint, so the global name of the class. So C main window, okay, and double colon. Okay, after this, it is possible to put the block with the commands of the reaction of the on the paint message. Okay, so first Mm, we will draw in the window, in the main window, in this frame, so-called frame. Okay, so when this window was created, so the pointer this to this window was created automatically. Its name is this. This means that this is a pointer to the main window. Okay. So it is possible to use this pointer. So let us create the object DC, device context. Okay. So with this pointer, this. Okay. So what the object is this DC. This is the object of the MFC class. Okay, MFC class. MFC class paint DC. The device context of painting. What does it mean? Device. What does it mean? Context. Okay, the device means the software complex to put out the information into the screen in MFC. So in MFC, Microsoft Foundation classes, we have the special device. So the device, the default device, Windows device, is the device built on the variety of original Windows functions of the kernel of the Windows, but in MFC, so which is written so over this variety of kernel Windows functions. Okay, so we have special device. The creator of MFC built his own device. Okay, his own device. So this is a device of MFC device. Okay. So the context, which context? The context of the main window. Why the context of the main window? For example, if we have, for example, the button in the window, or maybe track bar in the window, okay, or maybe some label in the window, or maybe some picture, or maybe text box. So we can draw in this so-called controls, okay, these elements of the window, but button is the little window in the main window, the static or label or picture, this is window, little window in the main window. The track bar is a complicated window in the main window. The text box is a complicated window in the main window too. In which window we will draw. So now we will draw in the main window. So we have the special pointer. This, okay, for the context for the main window. Okay, if we will create the button, so the pointer of the um, little window button will be created and so on. And to draw in the button in this window, little window, okay, we need the pointer, specific pointer of the button, for example. To draw in the label, we need the specific pointer to the label. All these specific pointers will be created when we will create the these controls, these little windows in the big window, in the main window. But now we have only the main window, okay, and this defaultly built, defaultly created pointer this and nothing else. And we will draw in this, okay, in this main window. Okay, so we will use the pointer this created default. Okay. Okay, so we now just have obtained the context of the main window. Okay, so now it is possible to use this object DC, okay, to add some pixels in the process of painting. Okay, so DC and the dot. And now we have the list of the members of the CPaint DC class, the functions, the methods. So what we need, for example, the function which put out the text information, text out. Let us put text out, text out function. Okay. So text out, and let us open the round bracket. Okay, so we see that this text out function has two variants, 1 and 2. The first variant of text out function, it is the coordinates of maybe upper left corner of the rectangle in which the text will be placed. Okay, so let us put some values, for example, 150 pixels left and 180 pixels down. 150 and 180. What does it mean? It means that, for example, if this is a window, so 150 pixels left and 180 pixels, for example, down. Okay, 150, 180. And so the rectangle with the text will begin in this upper left position. Okay, so, and after this, the second parameter of this magnificent function, okay, so the object of the string class. Okay, so the message, the text which we will suppose to see in the window, which the sequence of pixels which will add to the process of painting of the window. Okay, so for example, group space 211 space ki. Okay, so and after this it is necessary to close the round bracket and to put the semicolon. Okay, so let us see the result. Okay, so let me compile 5 errors. Okay, so what is wrong? Okay, what is wrong? What is wrong? What is wrong? Print. Okay, so let me check. Text out. Group 211 ki. DC. Paint DC this. text out. One more time, okay. So first, so the semicolon is not necessary in this position. Okay, so let us try again. Mhm. So we have the syntax mistake. Instead of message, we have another message. Okay. So now it's all right. So, and what do we see? So let me show. Okay, so group 211KI is added. So in the process of painting, this sequence of pixels, okay, group 21, that is group 211KI is added in the process of painting of this picture. Okay. So now let us continue. So for example, let us draw a line. Let us draw a line. To draw a line, we have a special function. Okay. DC function move to. So this function move to indicates the position, the initial position of the line. Okay, so for example, the first variant with two coordinates of the beginning pixel or the structure point of the MF. So let us draw a line. So from which position? For example, from position 11 to 100. 11 left and 200 down. Okay. So now we have only the initial position. To draw a line, it is necessary to use the function line2. Line2. Line2, two variants again. So the structure point or in the first just indicate the position manually. Okay, for example, 300, 200. From 11 to 300, to the left pixels. 200 means that the level is the same, so the line is horizontal. Okay, so let us compile, let us build, and let us execute. Okay, and let me show you the result. Okay, so you see the default scene black line is added in the process of the painting of this picture, this window. Okay. So after this, okay, so let us change the color. Okay, to change the color, we have in DC the special function, select object, select object, select object, select object. Okay, but what we must select? So select object. So do you see? So in select object function, we have 6 objects, 6 variants. Okay, we may select object of the pen. Okay, so the drawing instrument, line drawing instrument, the pen. Okay, so we may select the object of the regions. We may select the object of GDI object. Okay, we may select the brush. Okay, so the background, for example, of some geometric figures, closed areas. Okay, so we may select a font. Okay, and we may select even the bitmap. Okay, so what it is necessary now to change the color of the line, it is necessary to select the cpen object. Okay, so that's why, like it is indicated in the square brackets, it is necessary to create the object, the pointer to the pen object to the object of the cpen class of MFC. It is possible to do in the declaration of the class. So in the class now we have 1, 2, 3, 3 functions and message map. So in public components, let us declare the pointer, the pen pointer ppn. Okay, to the class cpen of MFC. Okay, so now it is possible to create new pen. Okay, how to create new pen? Dynamically. Okay, new cpen. Okay, so this class cpen has a constructor. So now we call the constructor of this class. So what it is necessary to indicate in this variant of this constructor? Okay, let us indicate. So first parameter 0, the second parameter 1, and the third parameter the RGB structure of the MFC, the color. So let the line will be pink. So pink, it is the combination, for example, of red and blue without green. So bright red, the maximal value 255. Okay, the minimal is 0, the maximal is 255. So 0 green and 255 blue. Okay, so now we have created the new object of the class cpan, and so the new operator returns the address and all the possibilities to use to the pointer ppn of the type of this class ppn. So we must select this ppn. Okay, now so the default brush will be changed, the default pen. I'm sorry, the default pen will be changed to this. So what does it mean 0? What does it mean 1? So it is possible to open the documentation, for example, and to see what does it mean 0, what does it mean 1. Okay, so one of these parameter means that the line is of 1 pixel thin. Okay, thickness is 1 pixel, and so maybe 0 means that the line is solid, okay, not dotted, for example, and so on. So RGB means that we have the, for example, pink color. Okay, and after this we may continue to draw. So it is necessary to call line to function. Okay, so and to continue the drawing. So line to 300, 200, maybe 200 will remain. Okay, and so let us draw to 400. Okay, so let us see the result, the pink continuation of the line. Okay, let me show you the result. The result. The result. Okay, do you see the pin continuation? Okay. So after this, it is necessary to delete this object pin, because we would not use this pink pen in the future. Okay, so but it is necessary maybe before we create the new object to save the old object. To save the old object before, it is possible to left this old pen, this default pen, so in the in memory, so and not to delete it in its proper time, and when we will draw a lot of something, so in the window, so it may cause the overflow of the memory. Okay, so but now we just draw one line, so we will draw two more objects, And it is not necessary now to talk about all these features, but when we will draw a lot of something in the window, so it is necessary to not only to delete this object, but it is necessary to save the previous object. Okay, so now let us continue. Now let us continue. So what we will do now? So now we will draw an arc. We will draw an arc. For this purpose, we have in this class of CPNDC the special function arc. Arc. Okay, let us use this function. Okay, so do you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parameters, or only 3 parameters? Okay, so the rectangle, so the start point and the end point. Okay, let us try to know what all this parameter means. So, for example, let us draw an arc. So, in this with these parameters. So, 100, 100. So, after this, 500, 300. After this, 100, 300, and 200. And 200. Okay. Now I will show you the result, and after this we will discuss it. But let us change the pen. Before this, let us change the pen. Okay, let us change the pen. So the new pen, let the new pen will be the combination of green and blue. Green and blue, the Tsarian pen. So that's why, for example, 0 red and bright green and bright blue. Okay, the Tsarian pen. And after this depicting, let us delete this pen because we would not use it in the future. Okay, so let me show you the result and let me explain what does it mean, the parameters of the arc function. Okay. So let us compile, let us, okay, arc, something wrong. So maybe the amount of parameters is not proper. Okay, 100, 100, 500, 300, 300 more. Okay, 300 more. Missed one parameter. Okay. Okay, let us see the result. Okay, let me show you the result. Okay, do you see? So what are the parameters of this arc function in brief? Okay, so the parameters of the rectangle may be upper left corner and down right corner. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So after this, the coordinates of two lines, the coordinate of two lines which restricts the arc. So this line and this line. So the arc from this, for example, to this, okay. So this parameter, these parameters, okay. So when you need to be familiar with the parameters of this function, you may find it in the documentation of MFC in internet. So, for example, arc, MFC, okay, and MFC learning will appear, and Windows learning, and about this arc function and its parameter, the examples of using. Okay, so now let us continue. Let us continue, and the last element of today's painting will be the horde. So in DC, that is in CPaint DC class, we have the special function horde. Horde. Okay, this function has a lot of parameters too. So do you see it is very similar to the arc? Okay, but arc, it is the contour. Okay, this is just a line, but horde, it is a solid figure. So we may, for example, to have the horde, okay, so arc, it is it maybe not closed, okay, so but horde, it is closed, and that's why it is possible, for example, to have some background of this closed area, okay, in the horde. Okay. So there are some difference between the arc and horde. So let us use in the horde these parameters. So 550, the rectangle maybe, or something like in this manner of the arc. 250. You may find the documentation of this horde function in the Microsoft Learning MFC Horde 2. So let us change the pen. Which pen we will use now? Okay. So let us change the pen to the green one. Okay, so and let us select the brush DC Okay, the brush, it is possible the background. Okay, to instead of default white, so to change the background. Okay, for this purpose, do you see we have special brush class, C brush, class brush of MFC, pointer to the brush. So that is like we declare the cpen class pointer to the object of cpen. So let us declare so the dynamical. So that is the pointer. So let us declare the dynamical pointer, for example, pointer to the brush PBR of the CBrush class of the MFC. Okay, so it is necessary to create the new object of the brush. So the default brush is white brush, solid white brush. New CBrush. CBrush. So it is possible to open the documentation of CBrush class of MFC, Microsoft Learning documentation, and see the parameters. So the solid brush, for example, 7, and the RGB, so the color. So which color of the background we will use? We will use the yellow. So the yellow is a combination of red and green without blue, for example. 255 bright red, 255 bright green, and no blue. Okay. So this is the solid yellow brush. Let us select this object, but before this it is necessary to return this new object to the pointer PBR. Okay, so and after this let us select this brush object PBR. But before we select another object, so it is possible to record the old object to not to lose it in the memory. Okay, so but now it is the problem of losing the previous objects of pen or brush. Okay, the default or not default. So it is not actual now because we draw only some details, some figures, some lines, some text, some sequences of pixels during the painting of the window. Okay, but in the process of a lot of painting, so it is problem is actual, and before created before to create the before creation the new objects, it is necessary to record the addresses in memory the previous objects to delete them manually. Okay, so but now it is problem not actual, so after the painting it is necessary to delete this object of pen and to delete this object of brush. Let us try to see the result. So one more time. So I repeat that the parameters of the chord function or arc function or all another functions you can find in the documentation of MFC mm, so of MFC class C paint DC class. So for example, arc MFC, for example, Horde MFC, and you will see the Microsoft Learning site and the explaining of all the parameters and with examples and with many other things. Okay, so now let us compile. Oh, okay. What is wrong? What is wrong? What is wrong? Okay, so paintbrush PBR, something wrong with this ZBrush. Okay, so let me check. Let me check. Let me check. Okay, ZBrush, new ZBrush. Brush 7255250. Okay, select paintbrush. Okay, paintbrush. Let us, I'm sorry. So paintbrush. No, paintbrush. So we, pointer brush. I'm sorry, not paintbrush. Paintbrush. It was the previous, before paint is the name of the program, which now is graphical editor. Paintbrush. Point brush. Brush pointer brush, PBR, so ZBrush class. Okay, something wrong with this constructor. Okay, so not enough actual parameters for RGB. What is wrong? So 255, I'm sorry. So instead of commas, I will put two dots. So let us continue. Okay, compile, build, and execute. Okay, and let me show you the final our this record final result. Okay, so please see this beautiful work. Okay, so maybe now it is possible to interrupt our this record and to continue it in the next recording, my dear students. So next we will draw the ellipse. We will draw the ellipse, but how to draw the ellipse? This is the material of the next recording, of the next record. So now students, let the God bless you, okay, and let the angel save you, okay. So that's all for today. That's all, not for today, but for this record.